philosophy today, and we did yesterday. There's a lot of different aspects to what I call the bright side philosophy, but the main idea is that even though there's 12,000 plus different diagnoses and labels, there's not a lot of things that can go wrong in the body. In philosophy and in science, there's this kind of concept, I guess you'd say. It's a formula called Occam's razor, O-C-C-A-M-S. It's also known as the law of parsimony or the law of economy. And this is a principle that scientists use that says that the simplest explanations will usually be the most plausible until evidence is presented that proves it false. That's Occam's razor. That's a guiding rule that scientists use, philosophers use, thinkers use when they're coming up with ideas. Well, when it comes to health, the simplest explanation that could be the most plausible until evidence that is presented that proves it false, the simplest idea about health is that if you are not feeling as good as you want to feel, that means your body is breaking down. It doesn't matter if your doctor diagnoses you with fibromyalgia or diabetes or arthritis or any of the 12,000 plus different diseases. That's just a way to distract us. Those are red herrings. Those are ways to sell us medicines and drugs, because for every label and diagnosis, you can bet there's a drug that you can get or a surgical procedure or a device that you can be billed for. What I'm saying is, let's simplify this. Your body's breaking down. Why is it breaking down? If we ask that simple question, why is the body breaking down? Then we can start to really address the causes of our health issues. Why is the body breaking down? Well, almost always you'll find some kind of digestive component. Almost always you'll find some kind of blood sugar component. And almost always you're going to find an adrenal gland thyroid component as well. And that's why when I talk to people on this radio show, I talk to people during the day, when I answer letters, the first thing I'm always going to ask you is, what's going on in the digestive system? Let's figure out the digestive symptomology. If you don't see any digestive symptoms, let's focus. What's going on with the blood sugar? Let's figure out a way to stabilize the blood sugar. What's going on with the adrenal glands and what's going on with the thyroid? Let's figure out a way to figure out what's going on inside the thyroid, inside the adrenal glands, inside the thyroid, and how to treat it correctly. No doctors necessary, no drugstores necessary, no side effects necessary, no insurance companies, etc. As we get older, for most of us, the end result of decades of abuse begin to show up in all the symptoms of the body. We've been focused on cardiovascular health for the last 2-3 weeks. We'll continue talking about that. The heart is no exception to this rule. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States and around the world. It can involve plaque. It can involve heart muscle weakness. It can involve problems with the valves. It can involve problems with the cells that control the rhythm, the so-called pacemaker cells. But the bottom line is something is keeping the heart from getting the blood it needs, from getting the oxygen it needs, from getting the energy it needs. Something is breaking down in the cardiovascular chemistry. That means the only thing we need to do to turn around heart disease is figure out what is breaking down in the cardiovascular chemistry. We need to improve the blood supply. We need to improve the strength of the heart muscle. We need to improve oxygenation. That's it. That's it. And it makes it so much simpler. Is there a drug on the planet that can make your heart stronger? Of course not. Can any doctor make your heart stronger? Of course not. But we can do it without a doctor. How do you make your heart stronger? Number one, exercise. Number two, stop eating the bad food. And number three, make sure you're using nutritional supplements. We've spent the last several weeks discussing alternatives that we can use to avoid taking heart medicine, to avoid our cholesterol-lowering drugs, our statin drugs, or our blood-thinning medicine, or our beta-blocking drugs, or our calcium channel-blocking drugs. One of the best ways of making the heart stronger is to improve the heart cells' ability to extract energy from fat, and probably the most important nutritional supplement of all for encouraging fat burning is carnitine. Carnitine comes in various forms: acetyl L-carnitine, acetyl L-carnitine arginate, so-called arginocarn brand name, glycine, propionyl L-carnitine brand name glycocarn, plain old L-carnitine. There's many different forms, but what they all have in common is they encourage production of cellular energy from fat. Carnitine encourages cells to become a fat burner, or to become fat burners. And the greater the amount of energy that our cells get from fat, the healthier they will be and the healthier we will be. The bottom line here, folks, is that anything we can do to shunt or direct energy towards fat burning and away from sugar burning is going to be in our interest. Eating fewer calories means we're going to be directing the body to burn fat, and this is an extremely effective strategy for fat burning. Eating less sugar, again, means we'll be directing the body to burn fat. As it turns out, most of us are doing the exact opposite. Most of us are not only not burning fat, but we're directing our body to burn sugar, and our body gets used to burning sugar. The pathways for burning sugar become entrenched, and this is a big, big problem. In fact, the horrifically excessive, from a biochemical standpoint at least, horrifically excessive consumption of sugar is probably the most serious health challenge that we are going to confront in our lifetimes. We've talked at length about glycation, which is the reaction that sugar has with protein, the burning reaction. The glycation reaction can occur with all the proteins in the body, including the proteins of the heart, the proteins in the brain, the proteins in blood vessels, the proteins in organs, the proteins in glands. This glycation reaction, this sugaring reaction, you could just think of it like caramelization. Our bodies are literally turning to candy. They're turning into caramel. They're turning into melted sugar as that sugar reacts with the protein in the body. And we've talked about the whole insulin connection, how excess ingestion of sugars not only is a problem because of the sugar, but because it creates issues with insulin, leading to an accumulation of body fat. Nothing tells the body to burn sugar and store fat more powerfully than the hormone insulin. Insulin causes cells to grow. That leads to cysts and fibroids and ultimately even cancers. Now we have a third mechanism where excess ingestion of sugar can cause health problems, and that is by discouraging the burning of fat for fuel. So sugar itself is a problem because it browns or it burns or it glycates or it candies or it caramelizes. Any word you want to use, any descriptive term you want to use, sugar itself is a problem because it will react with protein. Sugar is a problem because it elevates insulin, and insulin leads to accumulation of body fat. Insulin speeds up cell growth, which can lead to fibroids and cysts. And the third mechanism where excess sugar can cause a problem is the more sugar you eat, the less likely you're going to be using your fat, to be burning your fat for fuel. You're going to be using your sugar to burn for fuel, and sugar burning is far less efficient than fat burning. The more sugar you eat, the more likely it is that your fat is going to be stored and not burned. And conversely, the less sugar we eat, the more likely it is that the fat's going to be burned. This is so important. The less sugar that we eat, and that means bread and cereal and rice and pasta and potatoes and fruit juice and desserts, processed foods, fast foods, the less sugar we ingest, the more likely it's going to be that the body burns fat. All right, we'll continue our discussion on cardiovascular health, on heart health, and we'll take your phone calls as well. Got a bunch of you guys on hold. Try to get to as many calls as we can today. 866-582-9933 is our number. We'll be back after this. Don't go away.
Did you know by age 50, half of all men have an enlarged prostate? This means more urges to urinate, longer bathroom trips, waking at night to urinate, or issues with sex. If this sounds familiar, call us now, because we're shipping free bottles of Super Beta Prostate to listeners of this station. Super Beta Prostate is a non-prescription formula guaranteed to reduce the symptoms of your enlarged prostate. It's yours free. Pay only shipping and handling. Just call 1-800-281-8583. In clinical trials, the ingredient in Super Beta Prostate was shown to reduce urges to urinate, improve bladder emptying, reduce waking at night to urinate, and improve quality of life. This Super Beta Prostate free offer is for listeners of this station, but it won't last. Don't wait. Just call 1-800-281-8583. That's 1-800-281-8583. Call 1-800-281-8583.
Worried about getting sick and feeling terrible for days or even weeks? You need Immudyne for a healthy immune system. Why get sick and bother with products that just don't work? For just $1 a day, Immudyne is all natural and safe for all lifestyles. Call 866-257-8668 to buy now before it's too late, before you get sick. Or go to immudyne.com, Immudyne.com, or call 866-257-8668.
Virtually anyone can hack your cell phone and track your calls, your texts, your emails, your every movement, but only if they can detect a signal. Stay one step ahead of hackers and Big Brother with a Block-It Pocket, a custom-made pocket infused with pure silver that creates a complete Faraday enclosure for your cell phone. For free shipping to the lower 48, visit blockitpocket.com or call 888-315-9618. blockitpocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
We live in a complicated society. Stressful issues are always popping up. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone? Have you ever been overcharged for a repair? Have you ever signed a contract or a document? Worried about identity theft? How many times have you been in those unique situations where you just wanted to call an attorney to find out if you're right or wrong, or what your legal rights are? But every time you think about calling an attorney, what do you think about first? That's right. Who do you call, and how much will it cost? Our friends at Legal Shield have found a solution. With a nationwide network of 6,900 attorneys who average 19 years of experience, Legal Shield's law firms take over 40,000 calls per week helping their members. For less than $20 per month, you can have access to Legal Shield on everything from the trivial to the traumatic. Let Legal Shield stand up for your rights at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com. Or call 855-340-SAVE, 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
Yeah?
Did you want to see me, sir?
Well, I did, but now that I do, I'm not so sure.
Sir?
Johnson, I got a mission for you that could change your life.
Oh, good, sir.
It involves traveling halfway around the world without so much as half a clue of where you're going or what you're going to do when you get there.
Situation normal, sir?
Uh-huh. But I'll be leading this mission, Johnson, so I'll be telling you what to do.
You, sir?
That's right, Johnson, and I say first things first.
Oh, good plan, sir.
And what I say is first is food. Always remember that, Johnson. Food is a big deal.
Sir, my brother-in-law can get us a really good deal on some surplus MREs.
Johnson, if you've got half a brain and that empty head of yours, you'll call the freeze-dry guy like I did. That food is better for you, it rehydrates faster, and it's good, Johnson. And it keeps for up to 30 years.
Will we be gone that long, sir?
I hope not. Now get your supplies organized and meet me down to the pier at dawn on Sunday. We sail at sunrise.
Yes, sir.
This adventure is brought to you by the Freeze-Dry Guy. Call 866-404-3663 or visit freezedryguy.com.
We are the premier independent talk radio network, the Genesis Communications Network, GCN.
All right, we are back on the bright side. Thanks for joining us here today, friends. 866-582-9933 is our number. If you've got questions about prescription drugs, you want to get off your meds, get on a good nutritional supplement program, health issues, longevity questions, 866-582-9933 is the number. Andy writes, which is better, whey protein concentrates or whey protein isolates? Is there any difference at all? Are isolates dangerous? That's a good question. I get that question a lot about whey protein. First of all, let me say whey protein, if you can handle it, and it does have a little bit of lactose. Most whey proteins have a little lactose in them, and some people cannot handle whey protein, although most people can. If you have a problem with whey protein, that's unfortunate. Try using your whey protein with enzymes, or try using some of the more processed whey proteins. Whey protein isolate is a processed protein. It is processed to get rid of some of the compounds that people have issues with, and it also helps helps break down some of the proteins and frees up some of the amino acids. The problem is it is a processed protein, and proteins are very sensitive to processing. Also, as you break things down through the isolation process, you can not only create some toxic compounds in terms of toxic proteins, but you're going to lose a lot of the value of whey protein. Whey protein is such a valuable food because in addition to amino acids, and in addition to building amino acids, it has other protein-like compounds that are extremely important for health. These little protein compounds are called peptides, and they do some